But we begin with the Fox 10 News alert out of Buckeye tonight. Police say a grandmother killed her granddaughter tonight.
The shooting happened at a home near Baseline and Miller Roads. And Fox 10's Nicole Christina is live with the very latest for us tonight. Nicole, what happened?
December 15th, 2024. A grandmother picks up the phone in a house just outside Phoenix. She's trembling, her voice steady but strained as she tells the dispatcher about a fight. Her daughter and granddaughter locked in a struggle. Moments later, a gunshot echoes through the home. When the dust settles, 31-year-old Larkeya Elliott is dead, and the person holding the gun. Her 71-year-old grandmother, Debra Greene-Davis. This isn't a movie plot, this is real life, and it happened in Buckeye, Arizona, a town where no one saw it coming. What pushes a grandmother to take her own granddaughter's life? Was it fear, rage, or something else entirely? Have you ever wondered how far tension can stretch before it snaps, maybe even in your own family? Arguments happen everywhere, right? A slammed door, a raised voice, most of us have been there. But in this house, it didn't stop at words. It ended with a bullet. Today, we're stepping into a story that's raw, messy, and still unfolding as of April 2025. A family torn apart in seconds. A community left asking why. And a question that haunts me. Could this happen anywhere? Stick with me as we explore what went down that Sunday afternoon, because the truth here isn't simple, and it's going to hit harder than you expect. If you're already hooked, smash that like button now. It helps me keep bringing you stories like this. And trust me, you'll want to comment your thoughts by the end. Buckeye, Arizona, isn't the kind of place that screams headlines. 30 miles west of Phoenix, it's a town caught between two worlds, old desert roots and new suburban dreams. Back in the day, this was farmland, a dusty outpost where folks worked the soil and kept to themselves. Fast forward to 2024, and it's booming. Over 100,000 people now call it home, with housing developments popping up like weeds along Interstate 10. It's the kind of place where families move for a fresh start, drawn by cheaper rent and wide open space. But on December 15th, 2024, one family's story turned Buckeye into a name you'd see flashing across news screens. Meet Debra Greene-Davis. At 71, she's lived long enough to see Arizona change. Decades of sun and struggle etched into her life. She's not loud or flashy. Neighbors say she was the type to wave hello and keep moving. Born and raised in the Phoenix area, Debra was a grandmother who stayed close to her roots. Her daughter lived nearby, and so did her granddaughter, Larkeya Elliott. 3 generations tied together, sharing a history that stretched across years. Maybe she was the kind of grandma who kept old photos on the fridge or cooked meals that filled the house with warmth. But on that Sunday, warmth was nowhere to be found. Larkeya Elliott was 31, young enough to be chasing her own life in a town like Buckeye. We don't know much about her yet. Police haven't released the full picture, but she was likely part of the wave of people building something here. Maybe she worked one of the warehouse jobs sprouting up along the highway, or maybe she was just visiting that day. Either way, she was there, in that house near Baseline and Miller Roads, standing across from her grandmother and her mother. Larkeya wasn't a stranger. She was family, flesh and blood, a thread in the same story. Then there's the mother, caught in the middle, unnamed in the reports so far. She's the bridge between Debra and Larkeya, a daughter and a mom at the same time. Picture her in that house, maybe trying to keep the peace, maybe just wanting a normal Sunday. Families like this aren't rare, right? You've probably got your own version. Grandparents, parents, kids, all tangled up in each other's lives. It's messy, it's human, and sometimes it's heavy. What makes this one different is how that weight turned deadly. Buckeye itself sets the stage. This isn't some sleepy nowhere. It's a town on the move, growing so fast it's hard to keep up. But growth doesn't erase problems. Money gets tight, tempers flare, and homes can become pressure cookers. Arizona's got a reputation for guns, too. Laws here let people keep them close, no questions asked. In a state where domestic fights turn ugly more often than you'd hope, Buckeye's not immune. Last year alone, police logged their share of calls, arguments, fists, sometimes worse. So here's the setup. Debra, the grandmother with decades behind her. Larkeya, the granddaughter carving her own path. And the mother stuck between them. They're in a house that could have been any house, in a town that could have been any town. Except it wasn't. Something went wrong. Something big. And it started with a fight no one saw ending this way. Have you ever felt that kind of tension in your own life? That moment where voices get loud and you wonder how far it'll go? For this family, it went too far. Next, we're going to walk through that Sunday afternoon, step by step, blow by blow, because what happened in those few minutes changed everything. Stay with me. December 15th, 2024, started like any Sunday in Buckeye. The sun was high, the air dry, and in a house near Baseline and Miller Roads, 3 women were together. Debra Greene-Davis, her daughter, and her granddaughter, Larkeya Elliott. Maybe they'd planned to catch up, share a meal, or just pass the time. But by 2:30 p.m., that house wasn't a home anymore. It was a breaking point. What went down in those few minutes didn't just end a life, it ripped a family apart. Let's walk through it, because this is where everything shifts. It started with an argument. Reports say Larkeya and her mother were at odds, voices raised, tempers hot. We don't know the spark. Could have been money, a grudge, or something small that grew too big. Ever had one of those fights where words just keep piling up and you can't stop? That's where they were. Debra, the 71-year-old grandmother, was there too. Maybe watching, maybe trying to calm things down. She'd seen her share of family friction over the decades, but this was different. This was louder, sharper, closer to the edge. Then Debra made a move. She picked up the phone and dialed the police. Her voice cut through the noise, steady but tight, telling the dispatcher about a physical fight. Picture it. She's holding the line, trying to get help, while her daughter and granddaughter clash nearby. But Larkeya didn't back off. Court documents say she turned on Debra, lunged for the phone, started hitting her, hard, blows landing on a 71-year-old frame. Was it panic? Anger? We don't know what was in her head, but it changed the room in an instant.
The mother stepped in, caught between her own mom and her daughter, desperate to stop it. She tried to shield Debra, pulling at Larkeya, yelling for it to end. But it didn't. The fight was a tangle now. 3 generations locked in chaos, hands grabbing, voices overlapping. Debra stumbled back, maybe dazed, maybe scared. And that's when it happened. She didn't stay on the phone. She didn't wait for help. She went for a gun.
Arizona's gun laws mean a handgun in the house isn't rare. Could have been on a shelf in a drawer close enough to grab. Debra, bruised and cornered, held it in her hands. Time slows here. Imagine the weight of that moment. The shouts fading into a hum, the air thick with dust and fear. Larkeya was still coming, still fighting, and Debra pulled the trigger. One shot. It hit Larkeya. Where, we don't know yet, but it was enough. She dropped, blood pooling on the floor, life slipping away fast. Silence hit hard. The mother froze, staring at her daughter, 31 years old, gone in a flash. Debra stood there, gun still in hand, the phone line buzzing with a dispatcher's voice she didn't answer. What do you feel in that second? Shock? Regret? Nothing at all? 3 minutes ago, they were a family. Now, one was dead, one was a killer, and one was a witness to it all. Police rolled up fast, lights flashing, boots on gravel. They found Larkeya lifeless, Debra still there, and the mother trapped in the wreckage of her world. Debra didn't run. She was taken in, booked into jail that night, her life narrowing to a cell in Phoenix. The house went quiet again, but it'd never be the same.
Have you ever thought about how quick things can turn? One choice, 1 second, and it's over. That's what happened here. A fight that didn't stop, a gun that didn't stay holstered. If this story's hitting you, drop a comment below. Tell me what you think went through Debra's mind right then. And if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button. We're only halfway through, and there's more to unpack. Next, we'll look at what came after. The police, the neighbors, the questions no one can answer yet. Stay with me. The gunshot faded, but the echo didn't. By late afternoon on December 15th, 2024, a house near Baseline and Miller Roads in Buckeye, Arizona, was a crime scene. Larkeya Elliott, 31, lay dead on the floor, her blood marking the end of a fight that went too far. Her grandmother, Debra Greene-Davis, 71, stood nearby, the gun she'd fired still in the room, and her daughter, Larkeya's mother, was there too, a witness to the moment her family broke beyond repair. What happened next wasn't just about cuffs and questions, it was the start of a reckoning. Police hit the ground running. Minutes after Debra's call, cut short by the chaos, units rolled up, lights painting the street red and blue. They stepped into a scene that didn't need much explaining. A body, a weapon, and 2 women left standing. Debra didn't fight them. She was calm, or maybe just numb, as they took her into custody. By nightfall, she was booked into the 4th Avenue jail in Phoenix, her name now tied to a charge that could lock her away for good. Murder? Manslaughter? That's still up in the air as of April 2025, but the wheels were turning fast. For Larkeya's mother, the aftermath was a different kind of prison. She'd tried to stop it, pulled at her daughter, shielded her mom, but it wasn't enough. Now she was alone in that house, or maybe not even there anymore, staring at a life with her daughter gone and her mother behind bars. Ever lost someone and felt that hollow ache? Multiply it by betrayal, by violence, by the blur of seeing it happen. That's where she was, caught in a nightmare that didn't end when the sirens faded. Buckeye felt it too. This wasn't a big city used to flashing headlines. It was a growing town where people still nodded at neighbors. Word spread quick. By Monday, December 16th, news vans were parked nearby, cameras rolling as outlets like Fox 10 and ABC 15 pieced it together. "Grandmother shoots granddaughter," the headlines screamed. Locals couldn't shake it. One told AZ Family, "It's just unbelievable. You don't expect this here." Another, speaking to the Arizona Republic, said the family wasn't loud or troubled, at least not that anyone noticed. The community buzzed online too. On X, posts poured in, some shocked, some angry. "How does a grandma do that?" one user wrote. "Prayers for them all," said another. It wasn't just gossip, it was a gut punch. Buckeye's police, already stretched by the town's boom, added this to their load. They collected the gun, bagged evidence, and started digging. Was it self-defense? Debra said Larkeya hit her. Court docs backed that up. But intent matters. Did she mean to kill or just to stop? That's what they're chasing, and it's not a quick answer. The stakes here go deeper than one house. Arizona's no stranger to domestic blowups. Stats show it's got some of the highest rates in the country. Add guns to the mix, and it's a spark waiting for fuel. In Buckeye, where new folks and old-timers brush shoulders, tension isn't rare. This case hit a nerve, made people look at their own lives, their own fights. Could a Sunday argument turn into this anywhere? That's the question hanging heavy. For Debra, the clock's ticking. At 71, she's facing a legal fight that could outlast her. Jail's a cold place to land after a life raising kids and grandkids. For Larkeya, there's no more time. Just a story cut short, a name on a report. And for the mother, it's a wound that won't close. The investigation's ongoing. Detectives still pulling threads. Neighbors still whispering. But the truth? It's messy and it's not done yet. If this hits close to home, share it with someone. Let's get this story out there. Hit that like button too. It keeps us going. Next, we'll dig into why this matters beyond Buckeye. This story isn't just about a grandmother, a granddaughter, and a gun. It's bigger than Buckeye, bigger than one Sunday gone wrong. What happened on December 15, 2024, forces us to look at things we'd rather ignore, stuff that's closer to home than we admit. domestic violence, guns, family breaking under pressure. These aren't headlines. They're threads running through lives everywhere. Maybe even yours. Let's pull them apart, because this matters more than you might think. Start with domestic violence. Arizona's numbers are brutal. Thousands of calls every year, fights that turn homes into battlegrounds. It's not always loud or obvious. Sometimes it's quiet, building up over time. Debra, Larkeya, and her mother weren't strangers. They were blood. Ever had a family argument that left you shaking? Most don't end in gunfire, but they can leave scars. Here, it went past yelling, past fists even, and landed in a place no one comes back from. Why? That's the question that sticks. Then there's the gun. Arizona loves its firearms. Laws here make it easy to own one, keep one, carry one. In a house like Debra's, it wasn't odd to have a handgun nearby. Protection, habit, whatever. It was there. But when tension hit boiling, that gun didn't stay cold. One pull, one bullet, and Larkeya was gone. Think about it. How many homes have a weapon within reach? How many fights could flip like this if the timing's wrong? It's not about taking sides. It's about what's possible when metal meets anger. Family dynamics tie it together. 3 generations in one room. Grandma, mom, daughter. That's love, history, and baggage all at once. Debra raised her daughter, who raised Larkeya. They weren't perfect, but who is? Pressure builds in tight circles, money woes, old grudges, words you can't take back. This time it didn't just fracture, it shattered. Have you ever felt that push and pull with your own people? That line where loyalty turns raw? For them, it crossed into something permanent. This hits because it's not rare. Across the U.S., domestic killings happen too often. Hundreds every year, many with guns. Buckeye's just one dot on that map. But it's also a mirror. What if Debra had waited for the cops? What if Larkeya had walked away? What if that gun wasn't there? These what-ifs don't change the past, but they make you wonder. Could this be your town, your street, your fight gone too far? That's why this sticks with me. It's not about judging, it's about seeing. A 71-year-old woman in jail, a 31-year-old life snuffed out, a mother left with nothing. It's real, it's messy, and it's a wake-up call. Tell me in the comments, what do you think pushes a family to this edge? Share your take. I read everyone. And if this got you thinking, hit that subscribe button. We've got more stories coming that'll shake you up just like this. December 15th, 2024, left a mark on Buckeye, Arizona that won't fade easy. Larkeya Elliott, 31, is gone. Her life ended by a bullet from her own grandmother, Debra Greene-Davis. A mother stands in the middle, grieving a daughter and a mom she can't reach anymore. As of April 2025, this story's not over. Debra's in jail facing charges that could steal her last years. The courts are still weighing it. Was it fear, fury, or something else that pulled that trigger? We don't have the final word yet, and maybe we never will. What we do know is this. One Sunday flipped everything. A house that held 3 generations turned into a crime scene in minutes. Debra's locked up, her hands cuffed instead of holding family. Larkeya's mother is left picking up pieces that don't fit anymore. And Buckeye? It's quieter now, but the whispers linger. Neighbors still talk, still wonder how it came to this. It's a weight that sits heavy, a reminder that even the tightest bonds can snap. This isn't a neat ending. There's no bow to tie it up, no clear lesson to preach. It's raw, jagged, human. Maybe that's why it sticks with me, because it could have been different, but it wasn't. Debra's fate's still hanging. Larkeya's voice is silent, and the mother's carrying a loss that cuts deep. What stays with you from this? The gunshot, the fight, or the quiet after? I'll keep digging into stories like this, ones that shake you, make you think, hit you where it hurts. If this one got under your skin, smash that like button. It tells me you're with me. Drop a comment too. What do you think happens next for Debra? For Buckeye? Share this with someone who needs to hear it. And if you're not subscribed yet, hit that button now. We're not done asking the hard questions. Until next time, stay curious, and stay real.